Thank you very much for coming in, Stephen. Ants, please.
Adelaide last week.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Thank you very much, Stephen. And then we got Jared, and then that's it. Welcome, mate.
Kia ora. My name is Anthony Field, and I'm here because I'm extremely worried about our future. I have a degree in science, having studied at Canterbury and Victoria universities. At Paris in 2015, they were able to agree on a target of 1.5 degrees of warming. Sadly, not even 10 years after Paris, we are already exceeding 1.5 degrees. In August 23, the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth was 54 degrees in Iran. That's not a heat wave anymore, that's unlivable. Fatal. Like the European summer heat wave in 2023 killing 15,000 people, let's not forget the 2022 floods in Pakistan that left almost 2,000 people dead and 33 million people displaced from their homes. 1/3 of the country was underwater. The people who contribute the least pay the highest costs. Imagine if this happened in Aotearoa, 1/3 of the country underwater. Would we be continuing to wait while our climate commissioners tinker around the edges? No, I don't think we would. Maybe we believe the government has it under control. I mean, it's their job, right? We've got the emissions reduction plan, an emissions trading scheme, a national action plan, a resource management act, a climate change commission, climate change act, and we've declared a climate emergency. 5 years ago, the Christchurch City Council declared a climate emergency. I was in the audience then, and I'm disgusted that Christchurch's greenhouse gas emissions have decreased by just 1%. Wow. The low-hanging fruit are quick and easy ones to pick, yet you've only managed 1%. In 6 years' time, you have a target of 50% reduction. How on earth are you going to achieve that? Speaking of Earth, we only have one livable planet in our solar system. Shouldn't we be trying a bit harder to save our one and only home? On our current trajectory, we have only a 5% chance of avoiding 2 degrees of warming. If you knew there was a 95% chance your plane was going to crash, I bet you wouldn't get on it. Can you imagine what it would be like in 2 degrees of warming? 800 million to 3 billion people are projected to experience chronic water scarcity to droughts. At 2 degrees, 90% of coral reefs will be in risk of coral bleaching, turning our oceans into dead wastelands. Millions of people depend on these coral ecosystems for food. Sir David King, ex-chief scientific advisor to successive UK governments, said we need to move rapidly. What we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. We are in a very, very desperate situation. A single cruise ship can produce the same daily particulate matter emissions, damaged lungs and heart disease as millions of cars, with the global cruise fleet producing the emissions of equivalent of 323 million cars. I want the emissions from cruise ships, freight shipping and aviation to be counted in local and national emissions plans. I also want all subsidies for cruise ships to be stopped. Subsidies such as local councils giving free public transport to cruise ships passengers who are not even their own constituents. I would like that to be stopped, please. Another hugely important thing is education. A recent survey by the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Authority showed that 20% of New Zealanders don't believe in climate change. Based on that statistic, there might be a handful of people in this room right now who don't believe in climate change. That's a huge problem. And when we need to undergo such massive change as fast as possible, I think education needs to be increased. So what I've said thus far highlights the huge problems we face as a species. Some of the solutions I've talked about. I'd like the CCC to continue to support the sustainability funding and the biodiversity funding. I would like Christchurch City Council to increase our cycle lanes. I biked here this evening. We have some good cycle lanes, it's awesome. I completely agree with the previous speaker. A lot of people won't get out of their cars unless they see a safe way to cycle. I would like plane and ship emissions to be counted in local governance emission totals. That's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you very much. No, we've gone over time, but thank you very. I'll let you go over time because it was interesting what you were saying. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okie doke. So now we have Jared from the Ferrymead Trust.